everyone. Yes, this is HPSuprchrg2SS.LS3. We're going to do a DIY installing max speeding rods, coilovers for my 2010 Camaro SS. Here they are. Alright. And here are the recommended tools needed. An impact wrench, half an inch. Ratchet, half an inch to 3/8. Mechanical or electric. Pry bar, adjustable wrench, and some good old liquid wrench. Alright, now first I'm going to have to adjust these shocks to the right height I want. Alright, before I start working on my Camaro, I want to make sure all the safety features are set. I got this on my quick jack, which you can see the locking features on the arm. It's already set. Yes, as you can see, I have my front wheels off already. I already had this quick jack for almost a year and a half. Been doing great with it. Oil changes, brake service, exhaust, etc., etc., as Yul Brynner would say. But I want to make sure that everything is all safe, all cleared and everything. I'm just circling around my vehicle. Oh, and also, it's good to have a an extra hydraulic jack handy, as you can see right there. Oh, if you remember, I had my custom rear canards replaced, upgraded. Here they are. Okay, we're going to start. There are two ways you could go. Either you could start from the top or from the lower section. I decided to take the top. So you're going to need a 24-inch socket to take off the bolt, the strut bolt, and the plate assembly. Impact wrench is recommended unless you have a big heavy-duty torque wrench or a breaker bar wrench with socket. And if you already noticed, I already took off two bolts already. The second bolt you can actually leave alone because that's actually screwed into the strut that holds the spring compressed. I did that to relieve it, so it's up to you, your choice. Alright, now we're at the lower end. We're going to need a 10mm socket to loosen the bolt from the brake line bracket that's on the strut. You're going to have to excuse my snorting here. I caught some sort of a cold because when I was working on this coilover upgrades, it rained and there were some delays and I caught a cold. So excuse my snorting. I sound like a horse or something. Alright, next we need an 8mm socket to remove the bolt off from the sway bar link joint that's attached to the strut also. Yeah. Okay, if you notice, I've been having a hard time backing this nut out. You should have another 5mm on the other side to hold the bolt in so it doesn't go along with when you're using the ratchet. Okay, I couldn't get a good grip, so I used another 5mm ratchet on the other hand. There you go. Now you got to remember, the condition on the bolts, everything's all original, so they've been there for a while. Now with the stabilizer link, I moved it over so in a safer point so it doesn't get damaged. Okay, the last one will be the ABS or speed sensor. You'll need either an 8mm or 10mm socket to take it out. And there it is. And then I just pull out the speed sensor or whatever, ABS sensor, however you call it. Some guys call it ABS sensor or speed sensor. So you can see me pulling it out. There it is. Boy, that thing is dirty. And also, you move that to a more safer spot so it doesn't get damaged. Yeah. Alright, now we're getting close to the end here. Note, now comes the hydraulic jack. That will be placed right underneath the knuckle of the suspension from the strut to the lower A-arm. You're going to need that for adjustments to loosen out the bolt and also putting back the bolts, because once you disconnect it, it shifts everything. Everything is different. The last two bolts would be the ones at the lower A-arm axle to the strut. You'll need a 21 millimeter for the top bolts to hold both ends, a ratchet and a socket to remove it, and then for the bottom bolt would be an 18 millimeter. Same procedure. So when you're placing it, you think it's easy? No. I mean, I seen it done on some videos, but if you're just a new guy doing it your first time, it's a little more difficult, especially when you're by yourself. Yeah. Oops. Looks like I feel some rain. Slight rain coming down. Little drips. Let's see if I can get through this. Also, as you're doing this, the strut will fall out, either slowly or just abruptly, so be ready for it. That's why the hydraulic jack is there for, to hold it in place so you can catch it, or from it hitting whatever, the ground or what. I guess you notice the camera shake sometimes. It's actually attached to a bendable extension to my GoPro. Now here I made a little mistake. I usually supposed to mark the connection prior to taking out that bolt, with some sort of a marker or some white paint. Yeah, that way when you put it back, it's back to its temporary alignment. But even if you don't, you still got to take it to a shop for alignment. Now also here I'm having difficulty keeping it, keeping the shock from, the whole brake system to fall on me or something like that. So I have to hold it in place when I jar the last bolt. Yeah. Boy. Alright, the last final bolt on the bottom is finally out. Alright, here he comes. Whoa. Now, about that second bolt I told you I took off from the top, well, because I did that, it relieved the tension spring, the tension of the springs from the struts, so it doesn't spring out. It just dropped. Also, it made it easier because there is a top seated plating that sits on the coil springs. I will need to reuse that. Yeah. So, I don't have to use a coil compressor. Alright, that's how you take off the struts off of a 2010 Camaro SS. And all you do, just do the reverse procedure in reinstalling my struts, which are my max speeding rods coilover springs, custom height adjustment springs. Yes. Okay, I know that there's some dark rain clouds. I'm going to have to stop here. Alright, that's it for now. I will show another video of reinstalling my new max speeding rods coilover adjustment heights shock kits for the fronts and rears. So I'll put that out as soon as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is HPSuprchrg2SS.LS3. The one-man guy, DIY. Alright, thanks for watching. Please give me a like, a thumbs up, and please subscribe. Thank you. Take care now.